Yeah, so just to start off with this division, like we all kind of know it's one of the weaker divisions. I do think it got better this offseason. I think a lot of teams did improve, but I don't know if this is going to be a strong division, but it will be close. So that being said, I've got two teams who I ranked kind of in my top tier who I think should make the playoffs for sure. That's Calgary and Edmonton. I've got bubble teams, pretty much everybody else in the middle who could fight for a playoff spot. It wouldn't shock me if they made the playoffs. That's Vegas, LA, Vancouver, Anaheim, and Seattle. And then last place rebuilding teams, I've got the San Jose Sharks. So just prefacing that before I get into the Flames here, yeah, you kind of said it. Like predicting them to finish number one, that's what they did last year. They had 111 points, sixth in the NHL, and I think they got better as well. So I mean, you look at their forward group, I think maybe you could argue it's slightly worse because you'd rather have Tkachuk and Gaudreau over Huberdeau and Kadri, those two pairs. But that's arguable. On D, I think they got a lot better, though, adding Mackenzie Weegar, who is one of the best defensemen in the NHL. Top 15, I think, is safe to argue. And, it might even be the best top six group in the league. I don't think that's insane to say looking at this group now. And then in net, they've got, Jacob Markstrom, old reliable, one of the best goalies in the league. So I agree with you there, Harp. I think this team should finish number one in this division. And I think it'll be between them and Edmonton for number one spot, but I'm taking Calgary as well. Case, what do you think?
Yeah, it's funny. This offseason is kind of a bit of a Michael Scott snip, snap. Like for Calgary fans, you had no clue it was coming. It was like, oh, this team's screwed. They're done for. It's rebuild time. What are we going to do about this? And then it's, oh, we got Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar. Okay, maybe we have a chance. Oh, we're out of the Nazem Kadri situation. It doesn't sound like he's going to sign with us. Oh, no, we got him for way cheaper than anyone ever thought he was going to sign for. It's like snip, snap. And if you're asking me, they did get better. We talked about this before when we talked about the trade initially that, player for player, maybe it's not exactly one for one and, maybe they're weaker there. But I think as a team as a whole and all the assets they got in return, they're better off mostly because of culture and everything that's changed. This team now has a direction. For 3 years, we were bickering and we were confused on what they should do. Should they rebuild back in 2019, 2020? Should they trade their top players? Should they keep them? Are they signing long term? Are they leaving? It was just so much confusion. I have to imagine there's so much weight off these players' shoulders going into the season. It's like, okay, we're here. This is what we're doing. Let's move forward. And yeah, Chad, love the D core. This is probably, I'm going to put them in the top 3 for D depth in the whole league. It's awesome up and down. They might not have like, a Victor Hedman or a Roman Josi or Cale Makar or anything like that. But depth wise, this team is phenomenal and I love it. Cheap Vezina caliber goalie. Gotta love that. Locked up for a couple more years. And solid forward depth again. Also great down the middle. Everything I like about a team. So I really sat here and battled trying to put Edmonton in first place. But every time I came back to Calgary, they checked off all of the Casey Abrams boxes, and I ended up with them number one.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like a no-brainer, but it makes sense to put Calgary number one. Like they had such a good year last year. The year prior, there were some struggles there, but we looked at this team on paper and just thought, they're so freaking good. How can they not be a contender? And now they look a bit different, but they've still got your Lindholms, and then you've still got your Markstroms and the Hannafins and, the Tanevs, and the list goes on. But they look a bit different, but they're going to be just as good, if not better. And I'm looking forward to this team play because, like you said, Case, they're kind of built exactly how you want a team to be built.
Yeah. I mean, Michael Backlund, for one, was their number 2C last year on a first place team. Well, he's their 3C now. Like, yeah. They have to feel like they're in a stronger position down the middle. They picked up Kevin Rooney. He's such a serviceable fourth line centerman. So you got to love it down the middle. And then they have scoring options on the wing. The guys that are already there in Mangiapane and Toffoli, but now you have Huberdeau, who is, a 110-point scorer. Blake Coleman, we love him. I love him. Pickles, He's my man. Like, there's a lot to love about this team. And I don't know. I can't poke any holes in them, and that's what makes it so easy for me to have them either one or two. But I sat and debated on this team more than any other team in the Pacific Division, and I had them at 1.
Yeah, perfect. And they're still looking to add to that defensive depth. They just gave Michael Stone a PTO, and he played really well for them in a short amount of time last season. So, love what the Flames have done in kind of an up and down off season, but they took a negative and turned it into a huge positive. Jacob Pelche, another young player who I think could maybe get an opportunity as a depth player in their lineup and who could score some goals this season for the Flames. So